Well, good evening, everybody. Tonight, we just want to uh, have a little talk with most of the Double Double team members who were in Liberia recently on a mission trip and just got back home, actually back to Texas. And I'm here tonight sitting with one of the guys who was on that trip to Liberia. And sir, how can we get to know your name and what you do and how you got involved with Liberia?
My name is Chris Baker. I'm from a little community outside of Kaufman, Texas, in Kaufman County, Texas, and work for K.E. Andrews and Company. And I came to get involved in Liberia because my good friend Tom Ledbetter told me I needed to go to Liberia. And that all came about because of I was going through a lot of personal adversity in my life and recently, and some things, and Tom and I talked a lot, and he suggested that I needed to go and get a little change of perspective. So that's how I ended up. And a little more to that story. I was very unsure about going to Liberia. I didn't know if I wanted to go. I'm 56 years old. You hear all kinds of crazy stuff. I was afraid I'd get sick or this or that or whatever. But little things just kept pushing me, in that direction. And I kept thinking, I don't know if I need to go to Liberia. And the last thing that really kind of turned the corner for me, I was driving down the highway the day before we were supposed to order our airline tickets, and I had to make a decision. All right, am I going or am I not going? There was a whole bunch of issues with passports and a whole bunch of other stuff, but I'm driving down the highway, I'm like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to go. I'm just not going to go. And I look over, there's a truck driving down the highway right beside me, and the only word I saw, there was only one word on the side of the truck: mission. First, really as an adult, my first trip out of the country, and for sure my first mission trip. I've done a lot of volunteer work and things here in the States, but never anything like that. It was a wonderful trip. I mean, you leave a place like America and you go someplace like Liberia, and it's just, there's just no comparison. It's two different worlds completely. You go from a place of, anything you want, anything you need. You go into a store and there's 25 different kinds of cereal or, whatever, to a place where you can't even find cereal, or whatever. It's just a totally different world. But the people there, I think, are what affected me the most. The people are so open and warm and open to and embracing Christ and God and what that power can do in their lives, and they're just trying to find a way to make it, and they're holding on to that hope, and it's there's a lot of spirit there. It had a big impact on me. Again, you leave here and all these things that we take for granted, running water, clean water. You can go to any place in the United States. There's no place you can go in the United States that you can't easily find clean water. You can't do that in Liberia. We had to drink bottled water everywhere we went, or we would have got sick. And the people over there are bathing and drinking and washing their clothes and all these things in the same water, because that's all they had. And then you come back and, I realized I just spent $200 on a water bill to water my landscape. $200 is, what is that? Half a year's salary?
That's about 16,000 like during the other
way. Yeah, it's just, it really puts in perspective how blessed you are and how much other people need. Well, as far as Change Agent Network, I'm not real familiar with the structure of it, but I've seen you, Eric Willow, and all the people that you have on the ground there, the leadership you have, and the heart that you have for God's work, and the heart you have for the people there, and what you're trying to do, and it's inspiring. It's really inspiring. I've never met people like that, you know, I mean, to that degree, you know, and it was very impressive. Yeah, well, when we were there, we saw Johnsonville School, the Andrews Academy, and then we went out to Lofa and saw the school under construction. Very impressive, you know, very impressive. I saw, we were there right before the school year started, so we saw teachers meeting in faculty groups and developing curriculum and talking about, you know, the school year and just very impressive people, you know, people you'd expect to find in any school here in the United States, you know, and they're working for nothing. I mean, compared to what we get paid for over here, you know, a teacher there makes what, $80 a month?
Yes, sir.
And over here they make, you know, whatever it is, several thousand. You know, and some of the people we met could easily be teaching here in schools or universities and making way more than what they're making over there, but they're dedicated to the people and they're dedicated to what they're doing and they're giving back to their country and trying to help their country. And that, you know, it's an inspiring thing.
All right, second to the last question, any plan of coming back?
I would like to go back. You know, I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, I mean, it's just an amazing experience.
Right.
I would like to go back.
Any closing statement?
Well, you know, if you get a chance to go with an open mind, an open heart. Look for a chance, look for an opportunity, look for what small thing you can do to make a contribution over there, and you know, all it takes is a whole bunch of people doing a small thing, and it becomes a big thing.
Right.
Yes, my name is Jeremy Nyokas. I live here in Rockwall, Texas. I work at K.E. Anderson Company, like the rest of the men on the double team. And for those who aren't familiar, we work at a company for a man who actually got involved with the Change Agent Network, building a school in Liberia. Really only the second time I've been out of the country. And so, you know, 11-hour flight to Africa and then 12 days in Liberia was definitely out of my comfort zone of anything I've ever done before. What I took away from the trip, you know, it was very eye-opening. I think that one of the things we as Americans take for granted is that we live in a land of abundance. And just the little things, like we've spoken before, just the little things like running water, or going to a store where they have everything you need, or you know, like we were talking about earlier tonight, you know, you go to a buffet and they're not going to run out of food.
No way.
Anything you need and that you would ever need at any given time, we always have. And when you go over to Liberia, a country that's rebuilding itself like you guys are, it's very, very eye-opening for the little things that we all take for granted. It's a day-to-day struggle for you guys. My own personal, you know, it's very humbling, and I know that sounds cliche, but it really is. You know, you come back to the States and you realize that there's so much that you're given just because of where you were born, and it's, you know, not by anything that I did or achieved per se, as much as it's just the grace of God and where you were born. And so, you know, day to day, you try not to take those things for granted because, you know, it's not like that everywhere in the world. So the Change Agent Network is who we were hooked up with, traveling to Liberia. And the Change Agent Network is involved in a number of programs, educating Liberians, building schools. And one of the things, the biggest takeaway that I had from the Change Agent Network is that it wasn't an organization that was bringing Americans over to Liberia and showing them around and then asking how they can help. It's Change Agent Network is building up Liberians to help Liberians. And I think that's one of the things our group, the Double Team that we like to call ourselves, while we were in Liberia, we talked about so much about how the Change Agent Network and all the people involved, including yourself, is everybody wants to help the next generation. It's not what can we do right now for ourselves. It's how can we better the next generation. And that's kind of where I felt gravitating towards the Changes Network. I'll be back. Hopefully I can bring more people with me next time. Taking in everything you can, because it truly is a life-changing experience.
All right, my name is Hannah Bryn Gibson, and I live out here in Texas, Rockwall. And I just graduated with my master's in counseling, so I don't have a full-time job yet, but I am on the pursuit for one. That was my first mission trip. I've been overseas, but that was my first mission trip. It was awesome. Very, very eye-opening experience. Nothing I've ever experienced before. You know, you see it on the TV, you see all these, you know, poverty, you see, you know, a third world country on the TV and it says donate money, and so you kind of have an idea of what it is, but like actually going over there and experiencing it is completely different. Alright, well, my husband Eric, he works for K.E. Andrews. You know, like Jeremy was saying, the CEO purchased the AAA school, and so he was talking about going, and we actually went to one of your meetings at the business, and I was just, my eyes were open, and I was like, I want to go. Great. Take me there, I want to go. Why not take away? That's more of a question. A lot. First of all, I learned that y'all, you know, you give a hand up as opposed to giving a handout. And that was the biggest thing I was impressed with. And obviously I have a passion for people, I have a passion for kids, so just being around the kids, I don't know, there's nothing like it. So just my heart just doubled in size for you guys. Yeah, just a lot. It's hard to really put it into one word. Just everything, just that we're so blessed. We are so blessed living here, and I just, you know, everyone's already said it before, the daily things that we take for granted, and they're a blessing. And we should wake up every day and be thankful for what we have and not ungrateful that we don't have the newest car or the newest phone, but we have running water and we have food. And yeah, I don't know. I was very impressed with the leadership. Kind of like I said, you're not giving a handout, you're giving a hand up, and that you, I don't know, you love the Lord, and that's a big deal. And I think with God, all things are possible. Everything that y'all do, you have God on your buildings, and I mean, with Him being your sole purpose, your sole provider, I mean, big things are going to happen. So, Liberia, purchase a ticket and eat lots of bananas.